feeling deep inside. It's Rider Pride.
Rider Pride.
Well, there it is, folks. It's been another week for the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and our correspondent this week is in studio, our own Andrew Bellamy, who has traveled to Edmonton via BUSTradio for the game. So, Andrew, what'd you make of this game? Tough one for the boys.
Yeah, real tough one for the boys. Not a lot of positive to be said. It started off looking okay. We fumbled on a punt return, but then I believe Edmonton fumbled right after. We ended up scoring, and then just from that point on, it was pretty despicable. There's a lot of Durant haters, and I really get disappointed when I hear all the trash talk about Durant. I think it is safe to say, yeah, Durant has been inconsistent this season. Last season as well. Last season was a debauchery too. But it's not time to give up faith on Durant. Like, I don't know if any of the listeners have ever heard of a guy named Reggie Slack or Nevon Green. Like, come on.
Quarterbacks before.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we haven't had a quarterback in how many years? Like, you got to stay behind Durant. Yes, he's been inconsistent. I mean, another thing to look at, the loss of Andy Fantuz has been big. There's some guys that have stepped up. Dresser, obviously. We've kind of lost Getzlaff over the season, and Todd Smith has become Durant's number 2 guy, which, I mean, I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he's really going to be able to fill that role. But, I mean, I got off base there. Just to get back to Sunday's game, yeah, there's nothing really positive that can be said about that game. When Drew Willie came in and Edmonton was playing prevent defense, my biggest fear was that he was going to score a touchdown and everyone was going to be yelling, "Let's get Willie in." Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Does it seem to you, I kind of noticed this, or maybe I just thought it last game, that Durant seems a lot more uncomfortable away from Regina? He seems to do good in Regina, but outside, it's out of his element maybe, it might be tougher.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He didn't look solid at all. With his injury, it's kind of forced him to remain in the pocket more. And I know just last week, listening when the Riders won, they were saying, Durant's become a pocket quarterback and he's doing really well. And, I mean, yeah, okay, at times he has, but I think he's still that guy. He's a runner. He's a runner. He does really well when he's moving his legs. Not necessarily just running the ball, but moving his legs.
So how long has Durant been with the Riders? Moreover, how many starts do you think he's had in that length of time?
Well, I think this is his fourth or as a starter.
2 years I think he spent as a backup.
Yeah.
Even in 08 he was there. Wasn't he there when we won it as a backup?
Yeah, he was.
So
and then, in 07 we won, in 08 he took over.
Okay.
So 5 years he's been, and so he's got roughly whatever that would be, 70 starts.
Mm-hmm.
So how does a quarterback like Anthony Calvillo have the longevity that he has, and Durant is potentially burning out in his 5th season? Or is he burning out?
No, it's too early to say he's burning out. He's not. No, I'm going to say he's not. Because Durant has shown, even this season, he's showing flashes of greatness. It just seems like he's got to shore up some things. He makes some I think the big thing with him is he'll make poor decisions. That's his big fault. He'll play really well, and then he'll have a poor decision. And it seems like from then on, at that point in the game, it could be, it could go either way.
Do you think that errors are caused by the spotlight of the CFL always seeming to be on the Riders? Just like lots of poor results from the Maple Leafs are often attributed to them.
I wouldn't call the Riders the Maple Leafs of the CFL, maybe.
Well, I mean, but here's one interesting thing. Just to kind of put it in perspective, the 13th Man That Aired was the highest rated documentary ever shown on TSN.
Wow.
So, like,
I watched that.
I mean, it's the spotlight, obviously, of all the CFL teams, it is going to be on the Riders.
Why can't the Riders, with the following that they have, maintain any sort of consistency ever? Ever.
Well, since they won the Grey Cup, there's been a lot more consistency, like, as far as making the playoffs.
What was their record in the Grey Cup year?
I don't think it was terrific. It would have been, I think it was like 10-8 or something like that. Like, it wasn't great, but they've been making the playoffs, which was a rarity for them before that. In a league with that few teams, like,
Yeah.
to be that bad.
Then you need 4 wins to the Grey Cup?
Well,
wins,
you
4
can do
wins
it
to
in
take?
you can do it in 2. If you're first place in the division, you have you're automatically, you get a bye to the West or East final, and then you go to the Grey Cup. The Riders have been doing it. I don't think they've finished first in. I don't have the stats, but it's been years since they finished first in the division.
Other comment on the Durant haters is just shows how educated the Rider fan base are when it comes to football. I mean, it seems like a lot of them have just kind of tuned into the Riders since this whole Rider Pride green thing.
God.
Yeah.
And it's just like we've been doing it for 100 years, but everybody forgets that these games were getting sold out like less than a decade ago. But
Exactly.
and so you got all these fans, they don't really know what they're talking about, so they get them out of here, you know.
That could be Saskatchewan's provincial pastime, is people having lengthy, heated conversations about a sport and a team that they know nothing about.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't count the number of times that I've seen a group of men that would sooner watch a game of curling, or
Yeah.
or would sooner go for a walk on a Sunday afternoon, get into it about how the Riders did on the most recent Sunday. Like, it's so tough to listen to. I mean, you can't, as a sports fan, as primarily a hockey fan, I always find myself trying not to hate on basketball and to hate on the CFL and to hate on soccer, just because everyone's sports are sports and fans are fans. But listening to those fake Rider fans is trying. And I don't know about you guys, but it just
No.
grinds it.
I agree. Like, I'm definitely not the biggest Rider fan in me. Like, I love the team. I'm a big fan, but I have found myself in the past few years, I do not talk about the Riders with people. I only talk about the Riders with people that I know, like know sports,
Yeah.
at the very least,
Yeah.
Like, it's so tough having a conversation with someone who's just like,
Oh.
just knee-jerk reactions,
The thing about the Riders was it just happened. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't playoffs, I guess those 2 Grey Cup appearances helped, but just the amount
What
of
was it?
fans.
What was it? Yeah.
It was like, I'm pretty sure it came down to a marketing scheme or something where they stopped selling low tickets and they made it more of a, I don't know, like a premier thing to come to a Rider game. That's what I've heard anyway. 'Cause I don't know, they hold conferences where this guy talks about the success of the team, how he basically built them from a struggling franchise to a,
Sold out crowd.
greatest team ever, yeah. 3 Grey Cups in 100 years. But,
They were talking. I heard them talking about how the Pittsburgh Pirates, were one of the worst franchises in all sports. But the Riders, like, as far as North American professional major sports go, they have to easily take the cake.
yeah, I'm gonna have to
Okay,
cut you
what-
off there.
One last
Alright, go.
One last thing.
We'll try to get this.
That said, I would take this for Ridernation over anything. Like, I'll take all the part-time fans as long as tickets are getting sold and stuff is getting
That's true.
merchandise.
We're not getting blackouts anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take
no
that.
blackouts.
We'll take that.
Black.
We'll take some stupid fans for getting to see the games. Alrighty. Baseball talk and NFL coming up.